hearties. We feel like doing a blog today, we do. What are you going to talk about today, Laura? Well, I was going to talk about the human, the nature of what it is to be human. Someone once said that being the actor is to be the closest to God that one can get as a profession, because you are creating of character and soul and consciously thinking about what it is to be human and to take part in this world. Now, basically, when it comes to work and other professions, I always found it quite easy to get into jobs like that, because I went in there with the attitude of, I don't know if I want it or not, and I don't care in here. All the while knowing exactly what they wanted to hear. Yeah. Nod service and yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you want me to say, so I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna get the job, and then not be able to keep up the facade and get fired, basically, because I couldn't give a fuck. Now, you can say, what makes a person not give a fuck? I can say that I don't give a fuck now, because I don't. I am worldly. At a certain age, you become worldly. You go, survival. You meet homeless people. You see charities. You get to know. You understand the nature of people and yourself and how you can survive in hard times. And you realise that, some people, their jobs, that's the be all and end all of their whole identity. And it shouldn't be. Because I'm not saying that I've got all the solutions, but I have, in a way. It's like, what makes people unhappy? This is common stuff across the Western world. Everybody pissed off. Why? Because they have to, not always pissed off, but at one point or other, they will go through a point of crisis. That's why they have a crisis charity. Because they're like, 9 to 5, my life ain't mine. I'm doing this, I'm giving everything, and ultimately all the power is in somebody else's hands that lords it over you. And nobody really likes that, do they? So, other things, coming from they call them nuclear homes, don't they? Because we'll watch TV and the adverts are on in every single room in the house, and they're morbid, and they're shit, and they're like, a child needs your help in Africa. Give £1 a month. But if you're already taxed bank account and you're probably struggling, and we are actually just a slave race, right? Slave nation, lower class, working class slaves. And we've had this headset so drilled into us, they beat us down. We were in Victorian workhouses, split up from families. You have to work to knuckle to bone, do a certain amount of work. It was shit. It was no different to ethnic minorities that got robbed from Africa and got stuck in shitty environments and shit work conditions. It was probably just as bad, the same as. But we've been social commentaried about stuff to keep the it's basically like a film script. You've got a timeline, and there are people behind the curtains pulling certain buttons, triggers and things like that within the social media and constructs, and always manipulating sort of like a mass society, politics, always putting you, auditing your mind, thoughts and souls all the time, over busies. I don't know why society's like that. Why is that like that? Never understood it. Really, never from day dot understood it. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, taxing in every room, the adverts. Save up for your, save up for this, save up for that. Really, morbidity is what actually a large part of those homes is about. And I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but I do. Really, this could work for everybody. If there is a empathetic philanthropist among all those wealthier people, amongst footballers with your copious, outrageous amounts of money for kicking a ball around. All those people out there, this is aimed at. It's like, this is just a social lubricant link that should have been in society from the start, from the get-go, to break down walls of systematic design in NHSs, and that's basically the only good thing about our government, right? There's nothing left of them. They're shit. The police don't police properly the things they should police, like, and well, not we're told that they police in nuclear homes. I don't want them to police them. I think education is key. Very liberal on the sort of drugs front. I don't. People shouldn't take drugs. They should respect drugs. Like, people running around, their attitudes to ketamine is ridiculous. Like, they seek spiritual enlightenment from a thing that basically makes you feel like you're going to stop breathing. That's crazy shit. You know, people are insane out there. It's getting really kind of like, whoa, everybody, they're everywhere, drugs and stuff. You think they're not policing those things? Anyway, don't think they should, because NHS drugs are just as bad when you see like morphine deteriorating people and stuff and different things, and NHS drugs can just be just as detrimental to some people and their moral inclinations and whatever. Anyway, point being, so the only good thing about the government is the NHS. So basically, if you had a social work franchise and a registry of people, all the workers you can imagine, nurses, doctors, all those people, especially funeral workers, because as I said in another blog, Midnight Gospels, episode 7, he talks about the nature of when the plague come about. Are we all aware, are we on the same page, that coughing and sneezing spreads diseases, right? Just the coughing and sneezing bit, so when you're dead, you can't spread the disease, but they come and they rob the body because it was plague-ridden. Take it. Property of your family, it used to be, in tradition, you would dress your dead. If you go to other countries like India, obviously, and other undeveloped countries, that's how they still handle their dead. Even if you go to Ireland, they have wakes in the home and they're laid out in the home for a week before whatever, to get used to the fact that someone's passed. You know, they come robbing the dead in this Western world, and the factory society, the factory family societies that got over clinically. And I've noticed the desensitivity in people. I've noticed it. I've noticed how desensitized people are to life and death and other things, and that's where they were going. And that's become the norm, if I'm honest. Like, I feel like when you find your festival families and more love and hippies and different quarters and stuff where they've got that next level of enlightenment that try to tackle those insensitivities, and they're consciously trying to do it, it becomes a calling. It does become a calling, and that's exactly what it is. It's like, oh, okay, right, you ain't seeing what you're doing or how you're becoming. We've gotten used to this fact that the industrial owns over our lives to make it all convenient and like this, and it's not right. Everybody should have the choice. And if you've seen a film called Captain Fantastic, the guy steals his body of his wife and has a, basically, on public land, cremates her. Now what I was proposing as well is you would register those people, and you could, this COVID thing when they said they were going to chuck people into the Excel centre, what the fuck, what the actual fuck, right? Really, what? Imagine if you lost someone at a time when they couldn't deal with these things. Public land, heaths and stuff like this. Cremations used to happen all across the land. You know, they'll always get these sterile clinical people that say, oh, it's not good, but it's like temperatures of that heat, burning body. Have the person do the same process to the body in the home, call out people, and just do it on a wage basis, not on this you have to save thousands to get rid of your own flesh. You know, butchers deal with bodies and animal bodies every day of the week. It's just like this level of simplification of it for people. What's so bad about it? Doing away with the grind, the monotony, the shit, the grey, the grey in our society that keeps people there. The only reason they are there is because they literally have groomed generations of people to say, demonise all drugs, drink is the only thing, boorish kind of attitude towards it all. You have to save up this shit, bollocks, right? Just like, hi, a person, this has happened. It's all registered, it's 100% transparent to deal with any fuckery. If I'm doing treatment, event staff, you have to basically just pay the wages of a person for the day and use public land to you know, have things dealt with in different ways rather than these entities. And obviously people stand to benefit. People like to have their own business, and they still want that because they want to generate wealth. But this idea would it would generate a level of wealth in the fact that it'd be like Prince's Trust, opening up the world as well to people to do MVQs in woofing, fruit picking, farming, sofa surfing app. So it was originally designed to help homeless people and take them to hive buildings where there are buildings and they were public spots basically. And in winter, I said this would totally solve homeless deaths. You put someone in the back, boom, and you treat them like 999 shelters. Have just basic accommodation so no one's freezing to death. Fortunately, with global warming, it doesn't look like it's going to happen anyway. But in cold cities, that was the idea, and it would have a washroom in there, so kit, so you can give them a fresh t-shirt, have a wash in the back of the van, and then you can send them on their way. And potentially sofa surfing apps with incentives, because the person giving up their bed or home, and there's already a scheme like this in the Big Issue where people give out their rooms to youth. I think it's like homeless, vulnerable youth. But this, like, the same sort of thing, principle, but a big brand over it, and it'd be like, yeah, you've got a room, you've got this, yes, registered, and you'd even give them awards. They'd get incentives like a bit of close protection training and stuff like that. It's a really societal thing, and it would open up the community globally. It's not a danger; it's just a game changer, because NVQs and all these things for youth and underprivileged people, the people that are marginalised, you're sort of like giving them an extended family, like, here, would you like to go to Argentina to look after the turtles and the eggs in the Galapagos, or would you like to go here and here? And people's schemes all over the world, like literally just to sleep out under the stars and benefit from the world. Community across the globe, bringing down those walls rather than putting them up. Giving that wealth at grassroots to everybody. That would be good, wouldn't it? I think you would find that it would dynamically shift the face of the planet, because, like, as somebody said, animals are the only people that don't, animals are the only, animals don't stop people migrating. They've wandered to the African elephants from here to Kingdom Come in their time, travel the globe, because what we are fed in social commentary shrinks our vision of what is actually real and what's not, because generations and generations of our ancestors have walked around this globe, Silk Roads and stuff, they're all intermingled. Supremacy in other races, blacks and Arabs and everything else, it's right up here. Just because we got our little royal family on that stage going, this is what it is, and we're the privilege, it's just a smoke screen. It's all smoke screens. It's like when people get affronted about, I was having a conversation with a black dude yesterday, and he was like, what? I was like, yeah, but. I was like listening to the Brits. I was like, that wasn't even in my little space of time, just before current, because people live in the now, all live in the now. We're even getting brainwashed to live in the now. Why? My childhood was better than the now. It was already Sugar Hill Gang all going on nice in the developing media boom. It was all coming through just nicely to on par everything, and that's all. This because life is like that. It's a blink, isn't it? The ground's blink like that. And we don't see it. To transcend it is to be the enlightened one, but that's a very conscious, ever conscious. To train your mind to be that level of conscious is up to you. To take the guru talk, to be affronted or not, to be happy or not, from your struggles to find strength and encouragement, to always shine a light on the stuff like that. So anyway, what was I talking about? Yes, so I don't have a job. My self-worth was in the toilet for a long time, because that's my grooming to put all that wealth in, like your average person, sign on, get a job. I currently have no source of income. Am I stressed to the fuck on some levels? Yes, I'm like an ostrich with my head in the sand. But there ain't nothing to take from nothing that's like that. And I don't think I should be penalised anymore. I don't think I should be penalised anymore. Don't penalise law. Don't penalise law. No source of income, imagine that, for the last a decade now. I'm running around. The best I could hope for going to a festival and getting beat up by security, even though I am security. That was the last job that I was going to get, was with Kingfisher Garden. I'm happy to do the odd bit of security here and there. It'd be nicer if I got paid. Actually, the last job I did was just before Christmas. I ain't get paid for that yet, but then I would need to give them my bank details to do that. whole 10-hour shift. I was like, no, can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. People keep offering me drink and drugs and security. Am I wearing a uniform? I was like, am I? What's going on here? I've had too much good time. Life is for the living. All things in moderation. The worst drug I've always found to be the alcohol, the gateway drug to it all, I tell you. And also the reason that many are pissed and dies and lose their lack of judgment in what they're doing. The worst gateway drug that is, but it's like, don't ban it, because people just need to get more intelligent and be more wise and educated to everything else, don't they? Weed, it's nice. Mix the two, ooh, memory. A bumper this. Okay, that's turned me onto different areas of my brain. It might be good, but you don't do a line of it, because then you'll be mangled, crawling across floors. Or it's like the whole of existence melts into like some pirate ship, and you've had some transcendental next one, and it's not good, because it's doing stuff to this and this and this that ain't natural, I tell you. Not that synthetic horse tranquilizer. Nah. And then people go, oh, that poor Macmillan and people like that. There's all this fake shit flying around. It needs to be moderated and right. But there's nothing. The only thing to be fearful of is fear itself. Oi, that's me out. That was my ramblings for the day. I think you'll find I's the wisest one on this planet at the current moment, because I's an empath in that respect, because I wanted to get into acting originally. And then I was thought, well, it's never going to happen, is it? If you're not in spotlight and you're not actively trying to do it, I can't be a failed actress because I didn't fucking try. I didn't have a game plan, and then someone comes into your life that you sort of like hold your hands, goes, this is, you're supposed to do it yourself. All those things and all those scripts and all that moral certitude and all the things that you are, Puritan little you in your little nuclei home, this is what you're aspiring to. I just don't think I've got the persona to walk down the road and be the big rapster thing either. Because as that Will Smith said, actor is about being somebody else. Being a rapper or a communicator or going into the songwriting and doing it all yourself is about being true to thine self. So that is what you got here. Laura and Rickner, Lars de Dancier. Put an air on the end of it and apparently I'll make $1 million. This time next year we'll be millionaires. How do I go about getting paid? I've taken this idea of mine, arrival prime power to people right on time, all getting it off the production line. I've taken it all over the place. I've taken it to charities, talked about it, charity bosses. But that's St Mungo's. No, I didn't go there. Quite a known name, Streetwise Opera, Cardboard Citizens. There is Crisis, there is St Mungo's. These are more. Link them all up. This person that is a social worker with their van on the street with wet room, they're linked up to all these charities for the practical homeless in London and across cities. Just talking about people that provide a meal. They are subsidised by the lottery. They make a fortune at Christmas because every choir around London sings for them. But obviously what we are starting to see is there's a picture here, isn't there? Because it's a treadmill and it's an industrial, in the human industrialisation of even charity. Industrialisation of charity and health is very much a thing. Click onto this, because we all walk around with our blinkers on, giving money. But when they're asking for that kid in Africa, like for £1 off you, did you know they've got resources untapped full of all the most precious gems, gold, diamonds, trillions upon trillions is what Africans are walking on. Crazy, isn't it? And before demonising white people in the slave trades and stuff, just whitewash, demonise the lower class, working class that were being treated like slaves themselves. There were black people selling those people. They were like this, hand in hand. Watch Geography now as well for some insight into all the struggles, the French, the Belgians, the English, all trampling all over the new country. That's just what people do when they find new land. But they've had the wealth, and the trillions, and the trade has been going from there from Victorian times. All the money, that's just the way things are set up. I just never understood why they tax their own in this country or America or all over the globe. That Christian ethos, feel like you're being a good person, give them pound, give. If you had this thing that I'm talking about, you can go and build a school, you can go and do this, you're globalizing, you're maneuvering the race all at the bottom, and you're having a good time, and you're travelling, you're freeing up the world. No more taxing, none of these crooked people in uniform taking bribes and shit and crushing people. What is that? That's just enabled by governments. So there's really always a holy Armageddon on of some kind. It's like, I don't want to see people taxed. What is someone's worth if they're walking around in a uniform taxing other people, lording it over? It's just a status thing. It's like an animal thing. It's like looking at that monkey kingdom. Like, where is your place in it? Maybe we shouldn't have that sort of thing. We should have the people that organise the workforce, and we run around the planet, but we make sure everybody's just freed up and having a good time. Using public land, not saving for this and saving for that. All this scat play all over our relay. I don't like stress. This is one thing that's true about laws. I snapped, head in the sand. I never really moved out my parents' house in the respect of, like, paying bills and stuff, because the resources at the flat aren't used. The resources aren't used there, no. Here they're used. Don't even have internet at my place, or I don't bath there because they ain't got a shower. So it's like, didn't refuse to couldn't make that transition, so it's like head in the sand, like, can't do it. Too much responsibility. So it's like, I understand that crisis point. So this is literally a solution that come about from total bleak, but it shouldn't be. It's like fucking rave maths on so many levels, because hostels, hotels, farming all over the world, NVQ massive, like Prince's Trust, all documented 100%. Also offering legal aid if someone's got a problem and you think that you're being intimidated by police that might not be police, because you can get your hands on uniforms that look exactly like police, and the police are on the film sets, and it all gets a bit Confucius MC. You'd have a brand out there, you gotta be like 100% transparency, shine a light on it, media, distribution of wealth, document that case. Injustice faulted. Forced adoptions where people are just at a crisis point in their life and they lose their kids. Not happening if Rand is on the street. You can actually get a family involved, 100% transparency. That injustice will not happen in the systematic. It's very easy solutions to it all. Social work franchisee, arrival prime power to the people, right on time. Right, sunshine. Is it so wrong to have it sorted, sussed and fixed? I've tried to pitch this at pitching events, and I wasn't allowed to pitch, even though I paid, and I got a refund though, because I wasn't allowed to. I was like, what do you mean I'm not pitching? And they were like, well, let's all listen to this guy. I've invented an app on the thing. It tells you your pizza's coming. You can see your pizza coming. It's very exciting in hindsight. Very exciting to see that actually develop into the real world since. But you can see your pizza coming, yeah. But I was trying to propose this, which is far too much to get people's heads around. So it's obviously stands to reason that it was going to be a labour of love that has been going on for a decade nearly now. And I made one video about it a long time ago with the help of a person at the time that chucked the video together and put a pound note in front of the fucking homeless diggers, which made me look really sincere, didn't it? Because it's a non-profit thing anyway. It's a franchisee novelty donation point on the van to throw money at, so that person is canvassing for their own wage and their own business sort of thing, like those people canvass. But it's also something that should really be subsidised by a government, and something that should be literally, yeah, Ellen DeGeneres of the world, your money of the world should just be all over it. It should be like, yes, you are all family, and yes, this is time to even out that playing field and let people see the world and get about. Because literally, looking into science, atoms, particles, molecules, the God molecule, shooting things around the hydrogen collider in Opera and Pamela, but trillions, just trillions sitting on offshore accounts, Apple. Why do you need that money? People just hoard and it's disgusting. It's just vile filth. It's like, and you spend all that money looking for that, and you ain't even sorted out people's injustices up and down the globe. Just because you can't see it now because mainstream media's a whitewash doesn't mean it's not happening. From the legwork and running around meeting people, I gathered that people are all in the same boat and they all suffer. So that is why you need to get this on the road, get it done. It's a solution, because left to its own devices, media whitewashes over a lot of stuff and facilitates the injustices. There's a depravity within our culture and within humanity that will always be in quarters. They're called criminals, and some of them, just because you think you associate poor with criminality, not the case, is it? Come on now, we've learned that, haven't we now? Like rich people, even off with their head people, fucking King Henry the fucking VIII, their depravity is never addressed by the people, for the people, power to the people. This is as good as it gets. This is nuclear home with really working class background, dad, working class, mother, carer, provider. It's basic. People always even want, but when you try to rise, people try to tear strips off what? It's somebody with no income for 10 years. That is basically a kept pet. And but for the grace of my parents go I mean, but people are still, believe it or not, always trying to get at me or tear strips. Why? What? Is it because I haven't worked? Or you think I haven't worked, but I've been writing every day. I've been focused on a self-employed. Hardest thing I ever had to do is think outside of a box. And sorry if I haven't got time to stay in the slave systematic design and fill out boxes or tax returns. What's to return? There's nothing to what? I know I'm entitled to money, but I can't be bothered. The minute I ask for money, they ask me for a fucking audit for 5 years. What? Is that going to affect my housing benefit? I don't really care about the shoebox. Take your shoebox back. I would rather be a hobo, homeless, with a bag, than have the strategicity of society. It just doesn't work for me. In other cultures, you'd see me walking around wearing a diaper, smoking a spliff, probably in an Indian village, or people that live in jungles, or any other culture. Just because you're in your birthright design systematically caged. I love the way like Will Smith's kids were talking. I caught that one day. They were saying, well, school is just that, to design, condition your mind. It's very draconian. And it's like there's a level of alignment. Yes, your school bell rings. And I love the students for all walking out for the climate change, because they're seeing this climate. They're like, no, actually, it's a prison system design that draconians have been trying to inflict. Fascists have been trying to consciously inflict. Conditioning, grooming via mainstream medias, via certain channels. Like in America, they've got their main ones, CNN and Fox, and they keep it in, and it's like Trump's a joke. It's fake news. It's easy. It's as good as freeing the massive, the land of the free. They're saying it's free, but at the same time, in a country like that, it's the so far removed from free when they won't even treat people. They're unethical as fuck. They're in the care industry, and they don't care because you ain't got that. That's the warpness that I'm trying to take out of the picture. Money, rival prime power to the people right on time. Level out the playing field. Money shouldn't be a thing. They're thinking about bringing about Bitcoin. Research what money is. Used to be a rock that you wrote a scribe on. 2 cows. Yeah. What does that actually benefit? What is it exactly? It's just an illusion. So it's like, yes, flatten the illusionary field and open up the world, because the real world is in the wealth, in the travel, in the life experience, and broadening your horizons, and making sure that draconian fascists do not rule with supremacy media. Will this... I'm reliant on Facebook, and sometimes I think that tyranny of tech can actually take down players. Just like that. Short of getting I'll have to go to the corner and get out a megaphone and be one of those talkers on the corner and get other people to film me, but I'm conscious that tech can be manipulated. I swear, like dating apps, I was like, what the fuck? Someone's playing with me, screwy land up there. It's like lunacy being me. It's like, is this real, this app? Match.com. Person I saw on a bench. Out of all the people in the whole of London, like, that's just what? And then, yeah, screwy. And then it was like someone from Russia. Like, and then you're thinking, you know, they're not even allowed to be gay in Russia. I have no time for people that don't... Fucking love is love. It's depraved. It's like, you know what, it's like territory. That's what I've realised after watching geography now. We are just little microcosms of a macrocosm. People You get territorial over territory. Agency over your own body is something that this society was totally stripping away. Also noted in the Western world. As a child, feelings, never in pain, doctor pain, got struck off for other improprieties later in life. But as a 7-year-old, getting your head violated with a drill is something that will scar for a lifetime, really. There's a part of you that's just like, this is wrong. I know that this is wrong somehow. And you're 7 and you're just allowing it, and it's enabled by a systematic, because it's money, it's NHS, 60 quid a filling or whatever it is, it's depraved, you're probably getting kicks out of it. Taking away that over your body has been creeping in forever and ever and a day. Family Guy stuff. Oh yes, let's normalise roofie. Let's normalise that. I know agency over your body, just conquered land, all conquered nothing. Is it the way forward? Is it a level of spiritual enlightenment? I mean, they say that no over material objects is a way to enlightenment. To have no over your own body, is that another level of spiritual enlightenment, or is that just creating airhead massive? Like there's a level of, you're never gonna know your true wealth or worth character wise. Going back to character, because we have fed the Cinderella stories, the Disney, the wants for ourselves, the perfect love stories, the things like this. That's what we want. We never get that. First relates, there's people out there that are savvier than you coming out of your drinker home that believes no drugs are good. There's crackheads that know how to manipulate pheromones, and you don't know your ass from your elbow, and then your life's getting switched up, whatever, and you got other things to get over, relate wise, that you never thought you'd have to. You're getting all scrambled, shit's happening, and it's never as you plan. But you don't need the struggles.
No.
Don't need the struggles. Chuck, yes.
Want a cup of crumpets in